여러분, 야구 좋아하세요?
Everybody, hi. Do you like baseball? In Korea, baseball is one of the most popular sports, drawing more than 12 million people annually. We say that baseball is a game of records. Every tiny detail of a game, like a pitcher's spin rate to a batter's swing speed and launch angle, are meticulously recorded. There was a turning point when teams began using this data to completely transform how they play. That was the Moneyball's emergence. Maybe you remember the word Moneyball from the movie starring Brad Pitt, or maybe from SBS's hit drama series Stove League. Then, what does Moneyball mean? It is a strategy that applies statistics and mathematical methods to players' evaluation to maximize the probability of winning. This strategy started to gain attention since early 2000 when the success of Oakland athletics in the US happened. Compared to wealthy teams whose total payrolls reached billions, Oakland's budget was less than one-third of theirs. So they wanted to overcome this advantage by leveraging statistics and science, and it completely changed the paradigm. Just like Oakland succeeded with Moneyball despite limited resources, Korea, despite its lack of capital and resources, managed to become one of the global powers through its strategies and understanding of reality. Over the past 50 years, Korea's economic growth has been stunning, but we have not carried out the same strategy or methods all the time. We had the financial crisis of 1997 and the financial crisis of 2008 and COVID pandemic of 2020. Whenever there were those crises and changes, we always modified our rules and strategies to adapt ourselves to the situation. Of course, the past few years have been particularly challenging. We had the economic slowdown after the pandemic, and the world shifted from the free trade and FTA to tariff and protectionism. And now AI is reshaping the whole world. So those once-in-a-lifetime transformations happened all at once. Korea today is no longer a resource-poor country like Auckland in the early 2000s, but still we don't have sufficient resources. So then what is the new growth formula for today in this era? To answer this question, our research team began a project to find a new growth model for Korea. To find that growth formula, we looked into large companies, mid-sized companies, and global companies and investment firms, both from Korea and abroad. We conducted in-depth interview with renowned scholars worldwide and looked into various success cases and failure cases. At our team, we have the management scientists and experts who translate business problems into mathematical models. The management science was born during the dire time of World War II to help the Allied forces. Today, it is widely used across fields such as logistics, AI, supply chain design, and healthcare. We borrowed this issue of solving the science of engineering and business to find the solution for our current problem. And all the management science model is built on three key components: goal, a set of possible actions, and a set of constraints. So what will be the solution for Korea's growth for the future? I believe that we can find answers from both government policies and corporate strategies. We have to overcome the limits of existing growth models and find a new formula. As a result, I believe that we have now found two overarching directions for Korea. First is the flexibility and scalability added together to have the flex scalability. Second is to have the co-development across time, size, and sector. And we can call it as co-evolution, where large and small companies, past and future, and even companies and individuals evolve together. Ordinarily, flexibility and scalability are opposing concepts, but in today's hyper-competitive era, we need to have agility to respond fast and also to grow fast in scale. Another direction is the co-evolution. One of the biggest limitations of Korea's past growth model was that benefit was only concentrated among a few. Large conglomerates grew, but small and medium-sized companies lagged behind. Companies became world-class, but universities were not keeping that pace. So now we have to have the co-evolution. It will expand our economic growth and also allow sustainable growth in the time of uncertainty. This scalability and co-evolution should be the new growth formula for Korea. And I want to share 4 new growth principles based on that formula. First is the industrial ecosystem that embodies the flexible scalability. In order to respond to fast-changing global market and trend, we have to be agile as a squirrel. And to achieve scalability, we should have the economies of scale just like a mighty elephant. So we need to have that elephant strength, just like Amazon of the US. However, if your size grows, it's hard to keep the agility. Then how can we have the elephant strength and squirrel's agility at the same time? Our proposal is that we can still have the ecosystem that has the flexibility and scalability through the segregation of duties. In K-beauty, we have already showed to the world that that is possible. One of the growth engines for K-beauty was the rise of SMEs. Actually, 70% of Korea's cosmetics export in the first quarter of this year came from those SMEs. That was because R&D and manufacturing happened at an world-level ODMs like Cosmex, Colmar, and Cosmeca. And they are the elephants. And there are still small brands like the ones that are playing the role of squirrels that focused on design, marketing, and consumer trends. And they led this K-beauty trend. And I believe that we need to have this in the AI industry. Semiconductors and large foundation models should play the role of the elephant because it is really massively capital intensive and has big entry barrier. These elephants should create the basis for the others to follow. Based on this basis, companies like Naver Cloud and Langchain will be developing on top of that and play the role of being the middleman in this ecosystem, and in the end, the end users will receive the value. Only when we have this ecosystem, Korea's AI ecosystem will grow fast. Another important area where we need flexibility is the AI education. AI education is not about teaching coding to everybody. It is about setting the right direction in line with time and having many experts sitting together to design the educational curriculum. In 1950s, Sputnik of the Soviet, when it successfully launched into the space, the US felt great sense of defeat, and the physics scholars and physics teachers gathered together to create the PSSC, and it served as a turning point to cultivate the future generation of scientists. And in 2013, leading economists, including Nobel laureates, gathered together to create university-level economics textbook. We propose that Korea's AI education should be redesigned under government's leadership, not only for skill building, but to create the deep critical thinking through collaboration among top experts.